On this day in history, July 24th, 1917, the trial for exotic dancer Mata Hari begins in Paris. She's accused of being a spy for Germany during World War I. Mata Hari's real name was Margaretha Zelle MacLeod, and she was born in the Netherlands in 1876. As a teenager, she was the object of inappropriate attention paid to her by a senior male teacher, and as a result, she was asked to leave the private school that she was attending at the time. When she was 19 years old, she answered a Lonely Hearts ad in the newspaper, where she met and married Captain MacLeod, who was 20 years her senior. Initially, there was a romantic attraction between the two, but quickly theirs became an unhappy marriage. Captain MacLeod was an abusive alcoholic who carried on multiple affairs right in front of her face, and Margaretha was an insatiable flirt who was dissatisfied with her husband's meager pension. The couple lived briefly in Indonesia, which was called the Dutch East Indies at the time, and to escape her crap marriage at home, she began taking lessons from the local dance troupe. Her marriage to Captain MacLeod came to an end, and at 28 years old, Margaretha was struggling financially. She moved to Paris, and after failing to make ends meet as an artist's model and a circus performer, she returned to dancing. She took the stage name Mata Hari and quickly rose to prominence as an exotic dancer, drawing inspiration from the Javanese women that she had once admired. She claimed to be a Javanese princess who held the secret to Oriental sacred dance and danced seductively, removing layers and layers of silk scarves until she was dancing in nothing but her jewels and a bedazzled breastplate. As the Dutch daughter of a hat maker who had spent nearly 10 years abused and ignored as her husband, she was finding her own shining light in the mythology of the persona that she had created. Mata Hari became the longtime mistress of the French millionaire Emile Guimet, and as a dancer, she was earning about $42,000 per show. As she aged, she eventually stopped dancing and became a successful courtesan, having many financially beneficial relationships with high-ranking military officers, politicians, and others in influential positions in many different countries. As World War I broke out, suddenly this mysterious woman who constantly traveled between different countries and had intimate relationships with many senior military officers was drawing unwanted attention from France, England, and Germany. She was approached by a German intelligence officer who asked if she wanted to be a spy for Germany. She didn't really want to, but since Germany had just jacked a bunch of her furs and jewels, she considered $25,000 to do a little light spy work retribution. She later stated that she was just planning on taking the money and running. When she returned to Paris, she met and fell in love with Russian Captain Vadim Maslov, who was fighting for the French army. In April 1917, Maslov was wounded in battle and lost his left eye. Margaretha wanted to visit him, but since he was stationed in a hospital dangerously close to the front line, she had to request permission to visit from the French military, which they denied her. So Margaretha called up an ex-lover who suggested she get in contact with this guy, Georges Ledoux. Little did she know he was a big daddy for French counterintelligence who had been peeping on her for some time now. Apparently, Britain told France that she was high-key sus, and if she ever showed up in Britain again, she would immediately be placed under arrest. So she was granted access to visit her lover under the condition that when she returned, she would agree to be a spy for France. Margaretha did not disclose that maybe at one time she had been a teensy-weensy little old spy for Germany under contract, and this would prove to be her downfall. Under France's order, she was tasked with seducing the Crown Prince of Germany, Wilhelm something or other. So Mata Hari ends up in Spain, which was a neutral country at the time. She shacks up the Ritz Hotel and starts going through the diplomatic registry. She finds the name of a German major, Arnold Calais, and in order to secure a meeting with the German Crown Prince, offers to sell French secrets to Major Calais. But instead, apparently all she did was gossip about French politicians and their sex lives and their whatever they were getting up to. And Major Calais was either super annoyed that he had wasted time on this woman or was super pissed when he found out she was writing letters to France, divulging all the secrets that he had told her during pillow talk. Either way, as rumor has it, he sent a message to Berlin that he knew would be intercepted by the French, describing what a good German spy he had just found, and then continued to describe Mata Hari to a T. France said, "Oh hell no," and had Mata Hari promptly arrested. In a French prison kept under deplorable conditions, Margareta wrote letter after letter to former lovers asking them for help. None of them answered. After months of brutal interrogation, she eventually cracked and admitted to selling secrets to Germany, although she swore she never acted against France. Unfortunately, at this point in the war, France's morale was pretty low and they really needed a public victory. Having one German spy that they could blame everything that had gone wrong in the war on was convenient for the French government. Margareta was the perfect scapegoat, with her reputation as an international woman, an exotic dancer, and a courtesan. And in the court of public opinion, her once adoring fans turned their backs on her. On July 24th, 1917, her trial began, and her case received maximum publicity. It was 2 full days of dramatic statements and accusations. The prosecution used the fact that she was a woman against her, saying, without scruples and accustomed to making use of men, she is the type of woman who is born to be a spy. Despite having no credible evidence against her, Margareta was found guilty of spying for Germany and consequently causing the death of some 50,000 French soldiers. She was sentenced to death by firing squad. On the dawn of October 15th, she stood before 12 French soldiers, refused a blindfold, and defiantly blew a kiss to her executioners. She was 41 years old.